Hey guys, welcome to Thriving Thursday. I'm so excited. We have a special guest tonight. Her name is Kandi Dorsey. She has an amazing story, you guys, that you have to listen to. It's really something that we take for granted, we don't think about, and it's gonna blow you guys away. So we're gonna get started right away because I'm super excited to share her story with you guys, or have her share it with you guys, so that we can, just be aware, you guys, of the research and the things that we need to do for ourselves and our bodies when things are not going right, and not just leaving it to one doctor to say they don't know or misdiagnose it and stuff like that, but to get a second opinion and ask other people, and do your research yourself and find out what you need to find out to heal your body. So we're going to get on here with Kandi and get started. Hey Kandi.
Hi. Sorry, I have scrub cap hair, so forgive me for I just
This is
got done my 12-hour or my 10-hour shift, so.
yeah, real life 10-hour shift. Okay, tell us, what exactly do you do?
So I am currently in the cardiac cath lab at the university in Denver. So anybody that comes in that's having any kind of heart issue that needs a routine procedure or having a heart attack, I can go and I get called in the middle of the night and go in and help kind of save some lives. So I've been a nurse for about 12 years now, primarily cardiac based or driven. Many years in the critical care setting. I worked in some very intense ICU, CTICU, which is a cardiothoracic, so a lot of open heart procedures, things like that. And I've kind of just continued to expand my nursing career.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. I mean, I can't imagine the stress that comes with that, and maybe sleepless nights and stuff like that sometimes.
Many sleepless nights, a lot of times where I was rotating shifts or working night shift primarily. So it was a lot of like, my body was constantly in this like influx of like freaking out sometimes because it didn't know what cycle to be on. And it still kind of is like that now, considering I do get jolted out of bed at 2 a.m. on some occasions. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's kind of like a cop life, It's like you get called out in the middle of your sleep cycle.
Yeah, it like jars you up. I am thankful for the sleep that I take, because that allows me to, I get that adrenaline rush, right? Because I'm getting called out and I have to rush to work. There's sometimes where it's like a false alarm and we don't have to go in and do anything. So I can go home and I can literally get right back to sleep, which is what my body needs, because then I can get up and I can get things done.
Yeah,
Throughout my
definitely
day.
that restoration time for
For sure.
sure. I love that stuff. So tell us about your story. I've been like, so excited to share this with my friends, and I know your friends are going to be watching as well. Just about your story and what you're doing now.
So my story, I've had a very, very long journey of a little bit of like I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it, but sometimes it just seems like chaos. But it ended me into this like beautiful scenario that I'm in now. So I can't really say that it's been a journey. So went through nursing school, didn't have any issues. I ended up getting my breast implants during nursing school. So primarily my whole nursing career, I've always been thinking that I'm like sleepless and tired and stressed because I'm overworked and all of the things that get encompassed with being a nurse. It is a high stressed, high demand job, and I've been doing it for 12 years now. So I think I might actually be on the 13, 14-year mark. I'm not really sure exactly. Time all blurs.
It's a blur.
It just blurs. So I kind of just kept going through my nursing career thinking like this is the way you're supposed to feel, and then I would see other people like that I was in nursing school with that are doing really well and feel good, and they have these like normal lives, it seems like, and I'm like, what is going on? What am I doing? And it was like a constant cycle of like depression, anxiety, chronic pain. And I'm like, did I just move a patient wrong? All of these symptoms, like I had really bad stomach issues for a really long time, and I never could really correlate what it was. I then had to change my diet. I changed my exercise practices. I've changed my job multiple times to try and get into a better work-life balance. So I try all these different modalities, and it just seemed like nothing ever was really working. And I couldn't ever figure out. I had a four-wheel injury back when I was younger. Nothing too extensive, but I hit a jump. So I always had some kind of like back pain. So that was kind of like okay, that's part of my body now. But it just never really, nothing ever really took it away. It kind of just remained constant fatigue, constant tired. And I'm like, there's got to be more to this. And then I had a good friend. She loves me very much, and I hope she's watching. But she was reached out a few years back and was like, "You need to look into this. I think this might be affecting you. It's affecting one of my good friends. She just had her implants removed. You need to look at it." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll look." I looked at it. I recognized this story, and I was like, "Huh, she might be onto something." But I was very much in that denial phase of like, no, it can't be that. My body is going to be resilient. That's not affecting me. I don't have those issues. Now I'm here, and I've uprooted my whole life. I've changed my diet. I exercise regularly. I'm more holistically driven. I have a very strong spiritual practice. I practice yoga. I supplement. I do all the things.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100. And it's because I believe I have breast implant illness. And I have now had to seek multiple doctors to even be able to say, yeah, I've heard of this before. This probably is your issue.
And so it all kind of started with, you said you were just fatigued and you had back pain and stuff like that. Did you feel anything like in your breast that might kind of trigger you to think that?
So it took me until I would say this last 2, 3 years where I finally was like, I am like, once I really started getting in tune with my body. I really believe I am intuitive. I listen to my body. I sit and I kind of meditate and I think about what's going on with my body to help kind of heal it. So that's where I finally got to. And I was sitting there and I was meditating and praying to God to help me figure out what was going on with me. And then my breasts literally start like pulsating. They hurt. They get sharp stabbing pains occasionally now. So I know it's very much rooted in my breast tissue. I get very terrible migraines. I always forget about that, but I think that is also very correlated because it's very cyclical. It's very on my hormone cycle. So I get very bad migraines, nauseous, and then I get this really bad breast tenderness and sharp pains, and it's very uncomfortable. And so that's what really got me like, hey, maybe really should listen to what my friend Liz said so many years ago. And then I started digging, and I could not unsee what I read.
Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's like you don't even think about it because, like you said, you had that accident before, and that would make more sense
Right.
of why these things were happening. But so, okay. So, Liz, you said
Yeah, my good
her
friend.
name was, so she tells you about this, check this out. You start looking into it. Your doctor, he knew what it was, or she knew what it was.
So I went and seen my primary women's health doctor, and she was like, I've heard of people having this. I know nothing about it, but I'm going to refer you out. So then she referred me to somebody, and then the breast center referred me to finally a plastic surgeon. And he's like, and no discredit to any plastic surgeon, but most plastic surgeons, a lot of them will say that it's not related to this, or you might still have symptoms because they aren't going to bash on one of their profits.
Money makers. Yeah,
It
of
is their
course.
money maker. I don't care who you are. Silicone implants are the bread and butter of plastic surgery. That's what they do. They implant in, and they're not going to say, "Oh, this isn't good for you." That's just not what they're going to do. They're going to say, "Oh yeah, it might help." but a large percentage of the women that I personally know that have got them taken out feel 10, I don't even know how much better. It completely changes their life because they're
Yeah.
like, this is what's been causing my body to, it's kind of essentially it's an autoimmune condition. Your body is constantly fighting a foreign object in your body.
I was going to say, yeah, a foreign object. So, okay, so tell me, because, I know a lot of women that have breast implants, between the silicone, the saline, and I don't know whatever else is out there now. But when did you get yours? Like, and
So
did
I
you
got
think
mine.
about getting silicone versus saline when you did it?
So I did. I was kind of back and forth. The texture was what really drew me to silicone, and my surgeon at the time was like, "They're FDA approved. They're now safe. We reformulated them. They don't do the things that they used to. So now that they're okay." So then I was like, "Oh, well, they're saying that they're fine." So then and that was on me. I didn't do enough diligent research going into it, but I was very young at the time. And I'm not saying that, but I was younger, so I wasn't making the rational decisions and thinking things through as like I do now.
Yeah. No, I've
Um,
heard the same thing though. Even now, I've heard
yeah,
the same thing. Like, oh
you just
no, they're so much better.
they're so much better. They're safe. They're fine. They're FDA approved. We don't have any issues. The thing is, with things that are FDA approved and that are safe or effective, 10 times out of like 9 out of 10 times, they're not really studying the long term effects of things. They're not looking at what's going to happen in 10, 20 years. And if you start really looking at those studies, a lot of these women that especially have that are, and they're not even really like true studies because people are having to gather this data on their own because nobody wants to correlate it together. um, and a
That's
large
crazy.
percent of the women, especially in India, I know there was this one study that I was looking at, and 80% of the women in that get silicone implants, 80% end up developing some sort of autoimmune condition, whether it's scleroderma, scardosis, which affects the heart, and we transplant for that. There's a lot of different things that happen to the body that I'm now having symptoms of what would be considered fibromyalgia. And I hate to say that, and I'm not discrediting that disease at all. I think but coming from a healthcare standpoint, I know what that label brings to people that have fibromyalgia. And it's terrible. It's this terrible stigmatism because I know how it feels now. And
Hmm.
it's so hard to like say, I don't think that that person's having pain. But many people that are in healthcare will see the diagnosis of fibromyalgia and they'll be like, what kind of pain are they really having? And so
Yeah.
it's this weird, crazy, sorry, that
What
was,
was the name of what they diagnosed you with?
so it's technically considered breast implant illness. A lot of it's not truly a diagnosis because of everything kind of surrounding it.
Sorry, I just muted myself.
You're okay.
Yeah, okay, because I just wanted to get that out there. So, now you know about this. What are you able to do? What are they doing? What are they, you
So
know?
my next steps are getting them out. That is where I'm kind of at in my current process. I did have to undergo quite a bit of testing. They didn't do a lot of lab work. I had lab work done in the past and they couldn't ever really figure out. There's some inflammatory markers that you can test for, and I've had those drawn in the past, and some were elevated, but nobody could really like trigger, oh, why are these elevated? Nobody really wanted to make that connection. I had one doctor in New Mexico that was maybe trying to figure out why I was having all these like, and so she started looking at all these anti-inflammatory markers and things like that. So now I've seen my surgeon. I'm working on maybe seeing what I can do to get that scheduled. So that's kind of where I'm at in that. But the best thing to do is to ultimately get them out and then start detoxing and supporting my body from as much as from a nutritional standpoint. So I currently do that now. I'm kind of like priming my body, essentially, is the way I see it. Is I detox regularly. I heavy metal detox, which is something separate from what we always talk about. But I do heavy metal detox. I juice. I exercise. I hot yoga to help just keep myself as primed as possible. And then I actively take the whole gambit of anti-inflammatory products that we really like to advocate for, because we know the
Yeah.
potential of how powerful curcumin is, and CBD, and then just
Yeah.
replenishing all of those because of all the things that I have to do to kind of help feel good, which is
Yeah.
where I'm at.
We had done a interview or conversation with Tyler Walsh, the autoimmune typhoon.
Oh yeah.
And so I've been looking into a lot more of that as well, because, one of the doctors that he talks about that really helped him out, I was listening to something she said today, and she was talking about how a majority of the things that are out there are connected to this inflammation, and autoimmune disease, and in that category of things, but they just call it something else, but basically it's all dealing with autoimmune or inflammation and all that. So yeah, definitely, the products that you and I both advocate, and taking those has made such an amazing difference. So and I'm glad to hear that, yeah, like even with yoga and things like that, that's detoxing the body and all
Creating
that
the
movement,
movement.
being able to, yeah, yeah, I was going to say, because when you have those kinds of pains, um, you know, I mean, are you able to move? Are you able to work these 12-hour shifts? Like, it's so stressful on the body.
So that's already in itself is pretty high stress. So I think that's where it got me, was like I was taking all this stuff and I was like, I should be feeling better than I am. And I did feel good, but I was like, I feel like there should be like this extra step. And I'm like, where's that extra step? And I did all these other things. And I'm like, there's like always a root. You got to find the root cause. You can't just rely. And then why I love to advocate for supplementation, you can't just rely on that one thing to fix it. You got to find your root cause, fix the root cause, and then make lifestyle changes to be able to really live your best life. And so
Right.
that is why I do, yoga for exercise right now, because it's low impact. I'm not having things jostle up and down, especially when they're tender, it's slow, steady, like precise movements, and it's still giving me a really good workout and kind of burning. And if
Yeah.
it's heated, it's detoxing as well. Adequate nutrition. That's another thing that we both are very passionate about. You have to eat right for your body. And that's
Right.
different for everybody. So you need to figure out what works for you. And then,
Yeah. And
so
I mean, that's just it. Some people think, well, oh, well, if they supplement, they're going to be okay. And it's like, no, you really do. Like you said, finding the root, seeing what's right for you, seeing what's right for your body, even with nutrition. I talk to my clients about that all the time. When we put them on a plan and they're detoxing all these things, slowly but surely, they have to transition back into whole foods and finding out, are they allergic to something? I know
yeah,
for
what's
me,
causing some other, yeah,
there's foods I just can't eat. There's oils I cannot tolerate. My body just won't do it. And, certain butters I just can't have it. And they just always wanted to tell me that I had IBS. And I was just like, yeah, no, it's something more than that. And so they never diagnosed me. And thank God that he and food and nutrition and supplements have helped me to be normal and live a normal life again.
for,
So that's amazing.
yeah. So
So yeah, so I'm really glad that I mean, we're both like right there in the same thing, totally two different types of issues that we have going on in our lives. But the good part is that now we can thrive and learn how to do these things so that we can have a thriving life. We don't want to be hurting and in pain all the time.
exactly. It's just about figuring out what's going to work for you. And you're really like just living figuring it out so you can live your best life, because that's ultimately what we're all trying to achieve. It's just, how is it going to work for you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, this was awesome. I mean, I think totally eye-opening, and I hope that whoever's watching and, if you guys heard something that you didn't know about and need to share it with somebody that you think might be going through something like this, please share this video. We're both here to answer questions and stuff like that. So, put some questions or things in the comments so that we could get back to you. Both of us want to just be able to inform people and educate people about these issues and how to get past them and how to thrive in life. So anyway, so Kandi, thank you so much for hopping on here
Thank you
after
so
that
much for
work
having me.
day.
Thanks for having me. I enjoy talking about it, and I'm really starting to be one of my passion points. I haven't really announced it because I'm still working on myself, but it's
Yeah.
it's coming.
Well,
So
we'll have to check on you after everything gets done. When are your implants coming out?
hopefully middle of this year. So June,
Okay.
July,
Yeah.
August, somewhere around there is, he's kind of booked out. So I'm trying to work out my schedule. So
Yeah. Praying all the COVID stuff is gone by then.
yeah, all the
So
nonsense. So
yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for being on tonight. Okay, you guys, we will see you next Thursday on Thriving Thursdays. Talk to you later. Bye.